Hello, we're on air. Look, we're on air. Guess what Daddy got for Christmas? Welcome. It's episode 144. Sorry, 143. Oh God, I'm skipping ahead. We're always hassled. It's the 2022 awards show on the Pro Synth Network. You're watching live, hopefully. If you're not watching live, you're watching on catch up, or you're in another dimension and you're watching it in some other kind of way. But listen, thank you ever so much for turning up, whether you're here for the live show or whether you're here post live show. If you're here for the live show, then you're going to get your fingers dirty today. You're going to be actually doing some work for us. More about that later. If you're watching on catch up, then it's all been decided. The dust has settled and the decisions have been made. But just stick around and enjoy the show and shout at your computer screen or mobile device in frustration or agreement, whichever suits you. It's the end of the year. It's Friday the 30th of December. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. If you go for that whole kind of cyclical thing, well, yeah, in a couple of days' time, we start all over again. Or it could just be tomorrow. That's kind of how I look at it. So we're here after a wonderful Christmas. I hope you had a fantastic one. Don't forget that you can talk to us in the chat. And you are... we're going to have you on screen today because this is all about getting your hands dirty. You're going to be on screen later, so make sure that you've got your best gear on. Before we meet my co-hosts, which are the same ones we have every week, so you know who it is anyway, let's just do the whole thing where we remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That would be really, really useful. And if you want to make a donation, you can. The link is in the description below, or you can use YouTube Super Chat and Super Stickers. You can find us over there on Twitter, where we're broadcasting live for the time being. We're also on Instagram, where we're not broadcasting live, but we are also live on Facebook and, of course, here on YouTube. And we're across all of those at ProSynth Network. If you have any questions for us, or more importantly, if you want to contribute, and I'll explain this in just a minute, stick a big Q in front of your comment so that we can pick it out and throw it into the appropriate bucket. And then we can then pick those out. If you want to buy merchandise as modelled by all three of us this week, you can do so at the following address, vipergraphics.co.uk. Thank you very much. We get a cut of all sales there. So, yeah, brilliant. There you go. That's all of that stuff out of the way. I'm not going to mess around with kind of individual welcomes. Let's just bring everyone in. Hello, guys.
Hello.
How are we all?
Welcome.
Yes.
Oh, did you have a good Christmas? Come on, do some work.
I can't remember. I was pissed for most of it.
Okay, fair enough.
I did. I did.
Good.
I got to join the Inspire the Music Club.
Yeah, he's got his book.
So I've been enjoying that.
Good stuff.
Got that off Sam. And
Lovely.
that was apart from a turntable. That was the most musical thing that happened, really.
Yeah.
I have been back in the studio, though, because I've had a bit of a kind of flat period where I can't come up with any ideas, so I thought I'd leave it alone for a bit.
Yeah.
And I've been back in, and it seems to be flowing a bit better again, so
Nice.
I've been enjoying it. So much so I was still up at like 6 o'clock the other morning.
Yeah. It's funny enough, I was telling you about it earlier on, I've been sort of like every day this week I've been doing something, either musical or podcasty kind of thing. And so, yeah, I've been sort of like making the most of the time. How about you, Kent? How was your Christmas? Was it good?
Yeah, it was incredibly quiet.
Yeah. Best way, really. I suppose.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, apart from the dogs who were not. Yeah, no, it was pretty good all round. Fiona really loved her coffee table.
Nice. It's a nice
I
table.
don't recommend wrapping up one of them, putting it under the tree.
No. It's bigger than
Heavier.
the tree, isn't it?
It's heavier than me.
Yeah.
Ridiculous thing. But
Crazy.
we'd always seen them done on YouTube and thought, wouldn't it be nice to have one of them? Or
Yeah.
maybe we could make one ourselves.
So it's one because to explain to our viewers, it's one of these ones where it's like a piece of reclaimed wood that has had like all the rubbishy bits kind of scrubbed out and then filled with like multicolored resin. Yeah,
Resin,
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like almost like a satellite image of a coastline. Actually, the way it's been
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. They mark easy. I don't recommend it.
Oh, right, okay.
Buy
It's funny 'cause-
coasters.
Oh, right, because
Yeah.
we're actually going to be in the market for a a new coffee table because when we got our sofa, which is one of these kind of corner sofa things, the missus said, "Oh no, I don't want a coffee table. Where are we going to put our stuff? Because you need somewhere to put stuff." "Oh, I don't want stuff in there." "Oh, bloody hell, here we go." So we didn't have a coffee table, and I've eventually convinced her to have a coffee table. Now she's sat downstairs looking through catalogues and things, choosing a coffee table. I said, "Can we just go to IKEA and just get one, just throw it in?" But yeah, I don't think. Thanks for the heads up on that. I don't think we'll go for one of those.
They're massively expensive.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that they would cost, well, it's a couple of bits of reclaimed wood, for Christ's sake, wasn't it? And oh, how much is this resin? Oh, holy crap on a stick. It's not cheap gear.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's welcome to the Pro Coffee Table Network. The awards are coming shortly. So I didn't get anything musical for Christmas, I don't think, because the thing is with people like us, we buy the stuff we want, and if you then go to somebody and say, "Well, can you buy this?" it's usually either extortionately expensive or unavailable, or you just don't want to trust somebody getting you the wrong thing. So I ended up I got that on-air sign. Oh, I did kind of get something that was sort of related. I got a Cats on Synthesizers in Space t-shirt from my son, which I was going to wear tonight, but I thought, no, it's kind of uniform, so I put this on.
I joined their Facebook group over Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's probably where he got the idea.
Because it's got
from.
one of my Juno 60, the whites, Juno 60s that we used to do. It's got a picture of one of them with a cat on it. Oh, cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I got one of them, and what did the missus get me? Oh, I bought. The missus said, "You buy it, and I'll wrap it up and give it to you." I got the Beatles Revolver box set, which is rather splendid. So and that was it. And it's all very quiet, and a couple of family members over, and that was that really. So move on. Let's get into the new year and see what that brings. Before we do, of course, this is our last show of the year, and traditionally, although we've only done it once before, we do our awards season at the end. And I just kind of want to explain to everyone why we're doing what we're doing and how we're going to do it. So first of all, we've only got 2 hours, and we're a few minutes late starting. So we've only got 2 hours to get it all in. So if we were to do best synthesizer plugin, best effects plugin, best whatever, we'd end up with like a dozen categories, and we would just spend it would just take too long. So an executive decision was made that we have 3 categories. Now last year we did we do best hardware synth, best software synth, and best effects plugin. And I thought, why don't we do just like best hardware synthesizer, because we are the Pro Synth Network, and then instead of doing effects and software synthesizers on their own, we just have plugins, because they're all plugins. So that category combines whether it's an effect or an instrument, and effects can be used as instruments as well. So we've got top hardware synth, top plugin, and then the third category is kind of a catch-all for everything else. So it's production, what do we call it? Production tools. So it could be a groove box, it could be it could be a mixer, it could be a controller, because there's so many different things. Again, if take for example Sound on Sounds awards, there's like 30 odd categories. It's just insane. So 3 categories: hardware synth, plugin, and production tool. They're the 3 that we're going to look at, and this is how we're going to do it. Again, last year we did it slightly differently. The 3 of us discussed our favourite choices in each category. We then agreed on a top 5 list, and then we agreed on a winner from that list. This is where the audience, you, our lovely viewers, are going to get your hands dirty, and you are going to be voting for the winner in each category. So Kent, Ben, and myself, we're going to discuss our choices for each category. We're going to talk about their merits or otherwise, and then we will then come up, each one of us will choose our favourite. So, for example, I might choose, Synth A, Ben will Synth B, and Kent Synth C. Those three choices will then be thrown into over there, or under there, depending on how you're viewing us, into the YouTube chat as a poll. So 3 items in the poll, and you get to choose the winner. So all of you viewers, all you've got to do is click on that vote button. You vote for one item, and that's going to be the ProSynth Network winner in each of those categories.
And we're open to suggestions throughout the discussion, aren't we, as well?
Absolutely.
From the chat,
I mean, if we're talking about a bunch of stuff and you go, what about this? Well, you haven't spoken about that. Do remind us, look, we're all over 50 years old. Our memories are not what they used to be. So please do, if you have an opinion, throw it into the chat. We may or may not, agree with you, but we'll certainly throw it into the mix. And that's where you need to put the big Q in front of the thing. It's just, you might say, why Q? Well, it's just what we normally use, and it just helps pick things out. So if we don't talk about the thing that you think should be considered, throw it into the chat. What do you reckon? Is that, do you think that's good enough, clear enough? I think that's kind of...
Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
No. No. So I just need to take a sip of this. So just to address, there is no specific modular category, Mr. Brooks. Thank you. Mr. Brooks, of course, is our moderator in the chat. I think, is he the only one in there at the moment?
He's Mr. Moderator.
I think so. So thank you again for all your hard work this year so far, Mr. Brooks, in moderating the chat. But no, there won't be, again, I mean, God, modular, you could break that down into God knows how many categories. Yeah. However, if you have a modular item that you think should be considered in the synthesizer section or the production tools section, then do let us know. I don't know if the guys have got anything on their list. I don't, because I tried to make my list from things that I've actually used, that I can actually have an opinion on, rather than, oh look, that's a pretty synth. Like, maybe one or two of them I've kind of done that. But anyway, so I think we should kick off. And our first category is top 5, or top 5. I'll get rid of the 5. Top hardware synths of 2022. So I don't know how we're going to sort of like kick this off. So I might as well just throw my 5, the 5 that I came up with that I thought really made a big difference this year. And I have to hold my hands up. I've only one of these I haven't actually played. But I've seen a lot of it, and I've spoken to people who have, so that's why it's in there. So my choices for top hardware synthesizer were the Arturia Mini Freak, the Oberheim OBX8, the Roland Juno X, the PWM Malevolent, and the Groove Synthesis Third Wave. Those were my 5. How about you, Ben? What did you pick?
Right. Well, they're very similar. Gotta be honest. I went for the Melbourne Instruments Nina.
Okay, yeah.
As one of mine.
That Aussie one, yeah.
The Trigon 6. Is it the Trigon?
Sequential, yeah. Trigon 6.
Yeah, the Mini Freak.
Yep.
The Third Wave. The Juno X.
Mm-hmm.
And the OBX8.
Okay, so I'm just going to add these. I'm just going to kind of make a note of these as we go along. So Trigon 6. What was that? The Nina, wasn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
And then you said Juno X, OBX8 and Mini Freak, so that's fine. What about you, Kent? What did you come up with for your kind of favourite hardware synths of the year?
Well, a little bit more controversial.
Okay.
The thing is that there's a machine on here that's not 22 at all, but because it's still in production, I feel that it's still good enough. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I've got to put the Hydrosynth Deluxe on there.
Okay.
Because of because.
Yeah.
So obviously, Elephant in the Room OBSX.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a lovely piece of kit. And the other one, of course, is the Third Wave and the Mini Freak.
Okay.
Which I was quite taken to.
Mm.
Now there's a toss-up now between two. I do like this sample track, although I hear that it's a massive pain in the arse to use. However, The controversial one for me, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is the Behringer. Yeah. The Behringer System 55,
Okay.
which I think is actually quite good, actually.
Well, there you go. There's our modular box ticked.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So between us, we've agreed on a number of things, which I think is going to happen. So Arturian Mini Freak, third wave, OBX8. I think Ben and I both said the Juno X. We've got the PWM Malevolent, the Trigon 6, the Nina, then the Hydrosynth Deluxe, and the Behringer System 55. So let's see. Wagyu suggested some from other places. Kurzweil K2700. Yeah, that's a good choice. Moog Mavis, the new Moog Mini Model D 2002, the new remake. I've put the OP1 Field.
Expensive.
Yeah, I put the OP1 Field actually. I put that under production tools because I think it's more than just a synthesizer. It's a kind of an all-round thing. So I don't know. I mean, that maybe we can discuss that. Waldorf Iridium, Modi X Plus, of course, Modi X Plus. Which was kind of released quietly this year. There's some interesting ones there. What else did Wagyu throw in there? There was some more. The Hydrosynth Deluxe, an Explorer, Bastel Soft Pop 2, Black Corporation Isanin, Syntact. Again, Syntact, I would stick that in production tools again because it's probably more than just a synth. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong by all means. So there's a bunch there. What else? See what other people are throwing in. Anything? Half God, Half Beast is talking about the Korg natives. Well, yes, they'll appear in plugins. And in fact, I think the Modwave native was one of my choices. So anyway, I think. Wagyu's going to add the Osmos, and I guess we can put that into the production tools. And having spoken to someone, I guess you've probably spoken to him as well, Kent, today, who received one. I think during the phone call, he had to change his underwear 3 times. Evening Ty, by the way, whose Osmos arrived at 9 a.m. this morning. And I think that's probably the only reason he called me was to tell me how wonderful it was. So I think we'll probably stick that. I mean, yes, it is kind of. I suppose it is a synthesizer but it's more of a controller, isn't it? With a software.
No, technically
synthesizer.
it's a synthesizer because I put my.
Oh, it's got it built in, hasn't it? Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's what I put. So I haven't mentioned the Rise as hardware because technically it doesn't make any noise apart from you whack somebody around the head with it.
Well, yes,
it's quite effective, but it's technically I put it under production tools.
It's kind of hard to consider the Osmos for a number of reasons. Mainly because it literally has only just landed. You know, we've been looking at this thing for ages. Yeah. And it's only just starting to land on people's desks, and most of us haven't got one. So I really, I mean, if Ty says it's wonderful, I believe him, but I haven't had a chance to sort of go through that myself. But Culture of Ghost saying, is Osmos a synth? It is, because it does have its software engine built into the unit. So yes, it is. And I kind of forgotten that because I haven't really spent much time thinking about it because I can't afford one. But let's go through some of these and discuss them, and at the same time trying to keep an eye on the chat. I think most people have had their say.
I noticed I was the only one who picked the Nina.
Yeah, again, I didn't go for it because I have had very little. It didn't. When I saw the demos of it, I thought, yeah, that looks. Is that the one with the automated knobs?
Yeah, it's a 12-voice analog synth with motorized controls, which I think. I don't know. I just think there's so much potential there with that. I know it's going to add to like weight and costs, obviously, but as these things start to become more affordable to produce, we might see this on as standard on some synths, or at least like the. I love that. I think that controls should display where they're positioned, and like the Hydrasynth can do that, can't it, with its visuals around some of the controls. But like most of the time, you're out in the sticks, aren't you? If you want to see how something was made on an hardware synth, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, having the recall feature, I guess, is kind of handy. I think when it came out, we were discussing it, and I was like, "What's the how hard wearing are those controls? Because you're going to be manually doing it. What happens if there's an automated thing happening when you're doing something?
Yeah.
What's the? I mean, we haven't had one to try, so
no,
I don't really know. And
it's like $3,500 as well, which is a bit.
It's not cheap.
It's a bit expensive, but it's a 12-voice synth, so
12-voice analog. I mean, that's it's got to be.
I think it's interesting that.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't know. I don't really think it should be top, but it should be included for its innovation.
Certainly for consideration. Yeah, I mean, it's innovative. It's doing something new and different, and quite how that pans out, I don't know. It's one of those things you really have to kind of try. It's almost like it's answering it's a solution to a problem that I don't think exists. I've never heard many people say, "Oh, I wish this had motorized controls, so I could just like instantly recall." Or because you can record.
I was imagining a fully motorised JD800 once I was thinking about this afternoon. I thought, wow, that would be awesome. That you'd have to be careful that you didn't get your fingers trapped in any slide. It's everywhere, I think. But, and it'd be heavy, that, I should imagine.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's not cheap, because of all those components. But I mean, you can record automation into a lot of synths nowadays. Can you see it fed back to you visually through any sort of medium? Not all the time, but I don't know about that one. But it's definitely an interesting concept. Of the others that we looked at, we agreed on the Mini Freak. And I have fallen completely head over heels in love with it. I think it's a cracking little synth. And it's now become kind of my main controller at the desk here, because it's so compact, and yet in its own, it's just a wonderful, wonderful sound engine. They've really thought it through and expanded on the Micro Freak in what it can do, and it's just dead clever and really simple. And I love the macros, and the fact that you can just rub your finger up and down this strip and make a raft of changes very, very easily. Yeah, it's really cool. What about you guys? What did you think about the Mini Freak? Sorry.
Again, I haven't got my hands on one personally, but obviously we're doing the show and that. I've been watching all kinds of videos. I've heard what you thought about the one that you've got, and it just seems like a great idea. It's a great little machine. It's not that expensive when you think about what you're getting, and I love this idea that if you own the hardware, you've got unlimited instances of it virtually. Plug-in. I think that is definitely the way that things are going. I think to give everybody everything. It's like when you used to go and buy a movie, you get the download of it or whatever as well, or an album. It's like there should be options to suit everybody's workflow.
Yeah. I think the plug-in thing. I mean, because it's one thing, like Modal have had a plug-in, and IK Multimedia have had plugins for their hardware synths that you can then throw into a DAW and control the hardware via the plug-in. But to have the actual plug-in that you don't need the hardware, because it's a full-on blown version of the synth. That is also a librarian and an editor and an automated controller thing. It's dead clever, and it's. Whether it's the future of everything, I don't know, but it's going to be pretty cool. What were your thoughts on it, Kent, on the Mini Freak?
Well, although I haven't personally, used one or anything like that, I was going basically on listening to you play on my show. And
Play.
Play on my show. But yeah, and everything I heard, I really liked. I liked it. I've always been impressed where you've got like a massive sound coming from a tiny little surface. It's sort of like, wow, man, it's crammed in there. And I just liked the way it was sounding. It was really, really sweet.
It is. It really is. It's one of those things. It sounds way bigger than it looks. Which I think, a lot of people have said, right, so, bring on the Maxi Freak or the Mega Freak or whatever it might be. They could do a big version of it. Super Freak. Yeah. A cracking synth. Another couple that we agreed on some of us agreed on was the third wave, the Groove Synthesis third wave, and the Oberheim OBX8. Well, I think what can we say about the OBX8 that hasn't already been said? I mean, it's
a flawless diamond.
It is.
It really is. There's it's just everything is like box tick, box tick, box tick.
I think with the X8, it's like the OB8 and the OBX and the XA. They were like, for me personally anyway, like one of the most desirable synths to own, just because Mick McNeil used them, and they were like, they were so lustful, it was like, I really need these. And then like as the technology like kind of got replaced and these machines became on the second-hand market, got into a bit of a state of disrepair, it turns out that they're a bit of a nightmare to keep running smooth and what this does, it doesn't just give you that everything that you liked about the originals in a stable, reliable package. It also gives you all of the originals as well, with the emulations of the filter models and the preset banks. And I just think they obviously listened to what people wanted with this, I think, and they took note and they delivered it, and it's spot on.
I think that if Oberheim had come out with an OBX something that was a new version of just one of the classic OBs, people would have been like, wow, a brand new OBX, let's just say, or an OBXA, brand new one of those, and it's got everything that the OBXA had on them, but it's got USB and it's got MIDI and it's got all. And it's built from modern components, but it sounds just like. And if they'd have brought that out, I think lots of people have been like, "Yeah, great, brilliant." But the fact that they bring one instrument and then throw all of those synths in, was a masterstroke. And the build quality. I played one at Gearfest and Synthfest, and it's just stunning build quality. It's just perfect, and like Kent said, it's flawless. There's nothing.
If they brought out one, say the OBX, they're splitting up the community because
true.
There are all these people who go, no, I like the A, and no, I like the 8. So, and because they're very, very closely related to each other, it's just changing the development of the filters. Going from component to IC based and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And going from, I think it's 3086s to Curtis 3340 and all that sort of. So you've got this progression, but they're very, very similar to each other. But the sound was always subtly changed. So the fact that you go, oh yeah, well you can take your original WAV files of all your presets from 40 years ago in the back, and they load up and play, and people are going, bring them on,
remarkable,
because it means we don't have to fight trying to get 40-year-old computers going again.
Yeah.
So it ticks every single box you can think of. It really, really does.
Yeah.
And thank God I didn't put mini keys on it and make it out of high density polystyrene. And all this
Yeah,
sort of thing.
no, they've done the job properly, and
They've
that's
done everything right with it.
and that's testament as well to Dave Smith and his team of supporting all of that.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see Tom out there now, with a brand new synthesizer. And yes, some people have said, well, it's just at the end of the day, it's just like a rehash, but it's such a good rehash that it stands up in its own right, because you can combine all of those elements. You can combine the oscillators from one with the filters of another that you couldn't do before. So it does take it to a new level. And I think when we had Marcus on the show, and we said, look, we know you can't tell us anything, but is there anything in the pipeline? And he didn't, he intimated that there was. So, it'd be interesting to see what's next, whether that's Matrix related or...
Matrix 12.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Now we're getting ahead of ourselves. So OBX8, I think, was just a massive thing. It was kind of
bearing in mind that an OBX at the moment, an original OBX can set you back up to $8,500.
Yeah.
They're a bargain.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not losing anything in buying the new one at all over any of the other three old ones.
Oh,
So-
this isn't helping my gas. No.
Seriously, if I had
Sorry,
£5,000,
Ben.
I would, if I had that money, I would be torn between 2 or 3 cents, and the OBX8 is currently kind of winning on all fronts. One of the other ones that I would buy is one that some of us have mentioned, is the Groove Synthesis Third Wave.
Yeah.
So again, not a rehash. This is a new synth that is inspired by the PPG waves of old, and just goes way beyond and makes things so much easier to do, and yet retains that wonderful sound and then expands upon it. And for a company to kind of come out of nothing, this is their first synthesizer, and it's gone down an absolute storm and caused quite a stir when it came out. I would be torn between this and an OBX8, but everything I've seen and heard about Third Wave, I've spoken to people like Manny Fernandez, who's got one, and I've seen demos, and I watched Jim Hayward's demo from Sonic State, and it's just, it really is. And of course, we had Bob on the show, and it's great to see that kind of level of enthusiasm and passion and commitment. It's just what a great instrument to have, to be able to to have these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's another one of them as well, isn't it? It's like people wanted an updated PPG, and this is where it might have evolved to if it had just kept going. And I think it's an amazing sounding thing. This,
it's one of those machines, isn't it, where you've got OBX8, and the Third Wave, and a lot of people are going, not I want that one over that one. They're going, which one shall I buy first? Save up for the other one. Because
they'd look
they're
good
up there
together as well, wouldn't they?
And they would work well. They would sound
need
incredible.
to do a bundle.
I mean, 3 old blokes talking about synthesizers, but back in the day, people had an OBX8 and a PPG. Sorry, an OBX and a PPG, and and they were complementary to each other because each one did something that the other one couldn't.
Yeah,
and that's why you had them in there. So
that's why everybody was glad that the PPG came with a flat top.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You could put that on there. So and the what was the OB? Was it the S that had the big flat top on it? The preset version.
Oh, the preset one.
There was one.
What it was called.
OBSX.
Oh, was it OBSX? Was it? Yeah.
It was expandable up to 8 voice, but most of them came with either 2 or 4 cards.
Right. It was possible, wasn't it possible to edit them somehow? Them sounds in that.
Up to a point. Yeah. There was a few controls on the front that you could mess with.
Thank you, Mr. Thibault Sandra, for clarification there.
Didn't somebody make a controller for it? Or am I getting confused?
There was
I'm trying to
somebody
remember. Yeah.
took the Behringer BCR 200, that rotary knob thing.
Yeah.
Had,
Yeah.
And they made it because I bought one of my Emaxes of a guy in Brighton, Steve, who's got a studio called The Bunker, which literally is a bunker underground. And
Steve got a new bunker.
oh yeah. And it was amazing. It was one of those stories you'll tell people. You know, you go down this set of stairs, weaving your way around just like vintage synths and samplers, and then you get down and there's this wonderful smell of the herb, and just walls of Oberheims. Like every Oberheim, he had all the classics. You know, 808s, 909s, Jupiters, Junos, the whole flipping lot. And it was just a wonderful thing. But I said, "Is that a Behringer controller?" And he said, "Yeah, it is, but it's got this new firmware thing on it and this overlay, and you can control an Oberheim SX through it. You know, kind of So it was dead clever stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I'm conscious of the time because we got to crack through. So we've talked about Mini Freak, Third Wave, OBX8. I want to come on to one that is a brand new synth, although some might say, well, it's inspired by, but the sequential Trigon 6. And I have to admit that I was like a little underwhelmed by this. I didn't really feel this one, although I'm not questioning at all its build quality and the tone, you know, the sound that it makes. Supposedly, it's kind of inspired by a Memory Moog, if I'm not mistaken. So it's an interesting addition to the range, and I'm sure that lots of people will love it. I just didn't. It didn't kind of move me, if you know what I mean. But you said you liked it.
Yeah, I like it because I've got the Prophet's 6 here, and it's a very similar, just like the Oberheim OB. What was it? The OB6 is a very similar machine, but with the more nuanced sound, with towards the Oberheim technology.
Yeah.
And all this Trigon 6 is essentially that again, but with the more Moogy sound. So you've got sequential, you've got Oberheim, and you've got Moog sounding synths that all go together in it kind of like seals off that old analog poly thing. And in a form factor that's decent enough size, but still compact and not mega expensive. All right, they're not cheap, but they're not crazy prices. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it deserves to be the synth release of the year, but it's it finishes off that little trio of American synths, and I think it needed. Well, it didn't need adding, but it's nice that it's been added.
Yeah,
added.
I have to say that I think following in the footsteps of the Rev 4 Prophet 5 was going to be hard to do because that was such a well done new version of that synth. But yeah, I mean, we know that Sequential got lots of things going on, so I'm sure they'll come back with something even more impressive. I know that our friend Michael Whalen, has got a Trigon 6 and he's really loving it. So that's a pretty good thing. Juno X. I threw that in there. I think you did as well, Ben. Initially I wasn't impressed by this. I thought, it's just another System 8 stroke Jupiter XM stroke, let's throw the name on and then have it, able to load up different models and stuff. And then I actually played one. I went into the Roland store on Denmark Street and sat down and spent a good half hour or so playing through this thing. It's built brilliantly. It sounds amazing. It really does sound like a Juno because it's running that, that software. And of course you can put other models in there as well. And I think if I was a gigging musician, that's probably all I'd probably want to take with me, because I could have pretty much everything in there, all instantly recordable, all instantly editable with that great kind of Juno style front panel. And £1,600 I thought wasn't awfully expensive for something of that capability.
It's a lot of synth for the money.
It's a lot of synth for the money.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, some people love the way it looks. Some people hate the way it looks. I put that comment up about from Culture of Ghost because, some say it's blasphemy, to make it to get this iconic synth and make it into this. But I think it's close enough to give you that nostalgic vibe. But then it packs all this new stuff in there as well, and it does sound great. We've all had, I have particularly, years of rolling bashing, and I think this is the best thing they've done in ages. And it made me re-look at the Jupiter X and that, because I just dismissed that as, the Jupiter 18. That was just instantly in that category for me, like a rompler.
Yeah.
In Jupiter clothing.
Yeah.
And I never even listened to it or anything. That was it. I'm not interested in that. And then this came out, and when I actually started paying attention, I thought, this is a really, really great synth. Yeah. And then when you go back to the Jupiter, the Jupiter is a pretty well equipped synth as well. I don't think it matches the flagships that have gone previously from Roland, but still, they're maybe getting a bit back on track with what they're doing. It seems, they've got my interest again anyway.
It would have been nice, I think, if they had done a Juno X that was just Junos. All 3 Junos. That's it. Nothing else. And then done that for maybe $999, because then I think, and maybe use the same technology. I mean, Wagyu's going off there saying that it doesn't sound like a Juno. It does sound like a. I bloody sat one and played one, and it sounds like a Juno to me, to my ears anyway. It sounds as close enough to a Juno as you would want one to, I think. But I think the fact that it is, it's got loads of other extra features in there, and it really is. A lot of people have been saying that it's a real gigging keyboard player's keyboard.
Yeah.
And I'm not one. You are, and I'm assuming you'd love one of these in your rig.
I would probably have 4 of these in our rig, because it does everything that we need it to do. And unless it's a ton weight, it's past the audition already.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that they would just stop skirting around this whole thing. We don't chase analog ghosts, we don't blah, 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 and just come out and just do a bloody decent new Roland analog synth. But they're not going to do that. None of the big 3 are going to do. Well, Korg maybe, but certainly Roland and Yamaha, just it's not their market anymore, and that's fine, because there's plenty of other people that can do that. But I just thought it was a really, decent instrument for the price. Ken, you any thoughts on them?
I've never been a massive fan of the Juno sound, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Probably from working on them that did that. Because there's only so many thousand Junos you can do before you go, done with it. I've not really engaged because of that. So it's nothing to do with the equipment at all. It's just it's just me, just like, oh, Juno, yay.
Yeah.
Kind of scenario, So I'm tainted by it before I started, but it's not a reflection on the gear itself.
So, just looking at the time here, I want to talk about what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a decision here. The Osmos, which I think is going to win huge amounts of hearts and minds and awards now that it's finally here. I'm going to say that we should include that in next year's poll, because literally it's just hitting people now, and we'll have had a year of usage and people going, it's wonderful, it's rubbish, or whatever. So I'm going to say we'll put that in. We're not going to consider it this year because it's so late in the year that it's actually started dropping. But massive congratulations to Expressive E for pushing on with it and actually delivering it. I was saying to Ty this morning, we were having this conversation, they seem to have straddled the line between getting it right and delaying it long enough without losing its, their customers. And
I think they cut it fine though.
They cut it absolutely. It was squeaky bum time.
Yeah.
But they're now delivering them, and I think I know 2 people that have got them, and they're giddy with excitement, not just because they've got it, but because it is as good as they were told it was going to be, if not better. I mean, Ty was coming out with all sorts of references today. Musical, by the way, not. But yeah, it was saying it's like having one of these and one of these and one of these and one of these all rolled into one, and they were some pretty eclectic sort of synthesizers. So I'm going to say Osmos. I'll push it over there to next year. The other one
it's probably all right to mention it now, but the Osmos was sitting in France for a couple of months, and they had an issue.
Right.
And the delay was because of an issue, because there was a certain Chinese person who was looking in the wrong direction and put the wrong part in.
Yes.
And it will have to be corrected over here. So, considering they've gone through that as well, they've done extremely well to get them out there. And they're still, they're still coming out.
It's a very niche product as well, isn't it? I mean,
massively.
Yeah.
I'm just still very, very pissed that I still can't buy one. But I'm doing that.
Time will come.
Take my money, and it's like, no, sorry, not the
But
one.
on the other hand, all of these people, these early adopters, they're going to help, find the little bugs and find the things that will get fine tuned. If there, of course, any of those things exist, it might be perfect, but. And you'll benefit from that in the next round of purchases.
By all means, like most of these new machines, the first batch comes out and they're pretty much beta, and have yet to see the full potential of them. So,
Malevolent, PWM Malevolent, a British synthesizer, a real oddball. Did you guys ever get to play one at all? I played with one at Gearfest in London this year. Crazy fucking synth. I mean, in a good way. And it's a British guy, new company, and this really bonkers synthesizer that has there's nothing else quite like it. And I thought it was worthy of a mention at least.
Yeah, I've not tried one personally, but it's a cracking looking little thing. Like, and it reminds me of the early CS Yamaha CSs, like the 5 and the 10 and the 15. It's very reminiscent of those.
Very raw and aggressive. Synth, really nice. So look, I want to move on to the next category. So we've discussed most of the synths that have come up, and thank you to our chatties for throwing a few extras in there.
I was going to say, just to like round it up for me, if I walked into a room and somebody said that, Father Synthmas said, right, go in there and come out with one thing. And all the things that we've talked about there, I am pretty certain that I would come out with the Oberheim. Pretty certain.
So is that going to be your choice?
I think for that reason it's got to be. Because that's the one that I would actually run off with.
Okay,
and marry.
That's good. Okie doke. I'll tell Vicky. He's gone off and married a synthesizer. Sorry, love. Kent, out of all of those synthesizers, and you can't
I think I'm going to have to agree with Northern Santa over there, definitely.
Well, all right. So you agree with him, but can you pick another one? Just so we need 3 different ones.
Oh God, do I? Mini Freak.
Okay. Bugger. Because that was going to be mine. Okay, well that's okay.
Okay,
That's
no,
okay.
I can, because I know you like. Just thought, yeah, you really, really love that. Let's see, have a look here.
We had Third Wave, Juno X, Malevolent, Trigon 6.
Washing powder, bread, cheese. Third wave.
All right, Groove Synthesis third.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I do kind of like that as well. I must
I'm
admit.
happy with those three.
Okay. So our choice, our top 3 synthesizers, our hardware synthesizers are the Oberheim OBX8, the Arturia Mini Freak, and the Groove Synthesis Third Wave. Right, now it is over to our viewers, and we've got loads of viewers. I don't know what, somebody said something. Are we doing something right? Because loads of viewers live. Thank you all for watching us. And can I also take this opportunity to thank everyone that has subscribed, that has got us up to 2,500 subscribers. Now I know that by some people's standards they wouldn't get out of bed for 2,500 subscribers, but we do, and we love you for it, and thank you. Thank you for subscribing and for your continued patronage.
Just can't wet it.
And also, of course, thank you to Mr. Andrew Brooks for your £5 donation. Happy New Year to you, sir. He's our moderator. He's a fantastic lad. I hope he's feeling better as well, because he's not been well this year. Yeah, massive thank you to everything that you do.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw the poll open into the YouTube chat. So you've got to be watching on YouTube to do this. It's going to go into the YouTube chat. Our 3 options are Oberheim OBX8, Arturia Mini Freak, and the Groove Synthesis Third Wave. You can pick one as your favourite synth, hardware synth of 2022. And the poll is now there in the chat. Go for it. It's the first time I've ever done one of them. So
It's worked.
there we go. So if everyone can vote, that would be fantastic.
Hey.
We've got stuff going in at the moment.
It's like we're all proper and everything, isn't it?
I know. Look at this. Although saying that, for some reason, it's gone. The vote's gone. Have I got to go all the way? No.
X8's gone viral.
You have to just click on it, I think.
I'll just click on that to expand it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. So at the moment, the OBX8 is well in the lead.
Yes.
Followed
Come
by
on!
the Mini Freak. So we'll end that poll. Probably. What's the time now? Let's see. So it's just coming up to 8 p.m. here. So we'll give you another few minutes. Third Wave coming up on the back marker. We'll give you a few more minutes to vote on that, whilst we initially talk about the next category, which is the plugins. So, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that. Thank you. So plugins have been, fantastic this year, and I think maybe spurred on by the fact that there's been chip shortages, and so lots of people have been sort of getting really into plugins because the hardware is not so readily available. And there's lots of candidates. Now I've picked a few, and I'm sure you have too. So Ben, why don't you start with some of your candidates, and I'll note them down if I haven't already got them here.
Well, as the year goes on, you kind of forget what got released earlier on in the year, don't you? There's so much been released this year. So I went back looking, through news and that, see what came out, jog me memory. And Cherry Audio were just like...
They were banging them out left, right and centre.
Yeah, they had about 10 releases through the year. It was like they were really going for it. So I can't include all of the Cherry Audio stuff in there. So I had to pick one of them. And for me, I've picked Dream Synth because it was just original and new. And instead of giving us another such a thing, they give us something completely new, which was familiar, with the way it kind of worked. And I really like that one. I think the Oddity 3 from GeForce, that's...
stunning.
That's another amazing product from them. And it just, the old one was good, but this just hands down floors it. Again, GeForce again with the SEM.
Of course, yes, the SEM was this year as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know we've kind of already got that with the OBE, but I just think that it's sometimes when you're limited to that just one unit, is probably why they're so popular.
Yeah.
You get into it more and get more out of it. I just think cracking piece of software. Pigments 4. I've been messing with the update nearly all day today. I think it's a belting update on a great synth, which has been great since version 2. I think it's just getting better and better, and it's like it's almost a one-stop solution now for anything Pigments. It was very, very sparkly and digital at first, and now they call it the polychrome because it's loads of different kind of colours and tones. It's really, really powerful, and I've got to put that in there. It's maybe with a shout of being my top one, that.
Okay.
And the Mini Freak V, because just because I love what they've done with that, so I think it's a great thing. But obviously it can't be bought on its own yet, so you might want to throw that one out.
Yeah, well, no, we'll consider it. Kent, what about you in terms of software instruments?
Well, we've got obviously Odyssey 3.
Yeah.
Still messing with that one. She's been good fun. Contact 7.
Okay, yeah.
Because of the facilities that it does give you, even though it's much of a muchness, and it's but I'm finding it's made my life a lot easier, especially if you're doing the bigger projects. Ulterior version 9, obviously.
V collection, yeah.
Yeah, got to have the V collection, mate, because it's the donkeys doodahs. Got to have piglets in there as well, and old pigments. For exactly the same reasons Ben was saying. And then it all gets very blurry and bloodstained. And I was just looking for something that was different. And funnily enough, it was the Stephen Slate drums 5.5.
Okay, interesting.
Funnily enough, yeah, it's where you get drum sample libraries.
Yeah,
you won't find one as polished as this one. It's massively, massively polished, very shiny indeed. Nice. I gelled with the drum sounds it was doing. Put it that way. So it's a kind of them, really.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. So I agree with Pigments 4. Odyssey 3 for me was one of the most outstanding synth plugins of this year. And you mentioned the SEM as well. And of course, Cherry Audio have just been chucking synths out left, right, and centre. Who wants a synth? There you go, have one. It's just amazing stuff, and superb prices as well. The other ones that I wanted to kind of give mentions to were Korg. Now, I thought it was only the Modwave this year, but actually, Op6 and Wavestate it seems that they were last year. But those 3 software versions of the hardware, I think for me, that made me buy them. I haven't actually bought the Modwave yet. I was kind of teetering on buying the hardware, and then heard lots of reports, and then actually played with one and felt, it did feel very cheap and plasticky. It wasn't really enamoured with the build quality. And so when they came out with the plugins, I was like, now I've got it. Now I can have all of the sounds, and I don't have to worry about build quality or using a small keyboard. So I think all 3 of those were welcome additions, although I think their price, I still think Korg's pricing and upgrade policies are archaic and really not very customer friendly. V Collection, definitely, yeah. Roland's Jupiter 4 in the Roland Cloud was actually quite a nice one to have, because there's not been many sort of software versions of the Jupiter 4 out there, if any. I was trying to think of them. I can't think. There probably is some obscure one.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah. Another one that I thought was Oi Grandad, and we did speak about this. And it's this wonderful free piece of software that is a granular sampling thing, and it's great for kind of low drones and things. And it comes with like a massive library of stuff that you can just throw into it and mess around with. And the fact that it's free, I thought, was definitely worthy of a mention in amongst all of these others. So yeah, Oi Grandad was just, and the name is just superb. Of course, we mustn't forget Waldorf released the Strike Fet plugin this year, which was another one. And I think one that crept in right at the very last moment, and the fact that it's free until the 4th of January, so if you haven't got it already, go and get it now. Even if you think you might not use it, go and get it. Was the Arturia MS-20 filter, which they took from their version of the MS-20, and it also appears in the Pigments 4 as well. So, but the fact that you can get this free, and it's not just a filter effect that you can just throw into a channel strip and then put stuff through it. It's got, sequences and modulation stuff going on. It's just a really, really useful filter, and it gives you that, bastard screaming sound that you can put anything through. That for me was superb.
Yeah, I agree with that one as well.
Yeah,
right,
so there's lots of choices there. I mean, personally, I think Odyssey 3's got to be up there for me. Cherry Audio. So I think, like you, Ben, I was like, which do I choose? It's like choosing your favourite child. Because they're all really good in their own way. I thought Elka was actually quite nice, but I think, and I know maybe this isn't going to get. I actually thought the GX80 was, all in all, as an all-round synth for $59. Putting aside how accurate it might be in replicating either of the instruments that it purports to replicate, on its own, I think it's a really powerful software synthesizer for stupid money. So for me, in that regard, on its own, I think it's worthy of a mention. But I did like Elka. Signs, everybody said, oh, look, here's something that Rob will like because it's FM, or based on it. Yeah, that was good. And Dream Synth was pretty spectacular, I have to say. And didn't was it Mini? Did the Miniverse come out? Was that this year? Yeah.
It was called a mini mode at first.
That's
wasn't
it. Yeah, they had to change it.
That was like early on in the year. So they've
also,
had quite a few.
Talking of Moog, the Moog Model 15. Sorry, not the Moog Mini Moog Model D for Mac OS as a plugin. I thought was pretty cool. So plenty of there.
I've got mini Moogs like everywhere at the minute. It's just
I think one of the best ones is it Home Forces one?
Yeah,
Model 73.
Oh, that's Soft Tube, isn't it?
I've got that one. Yeah,
I got that on your recommendation, Ken. That is very good.
It's belting, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Juno's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Model 80 something.
Well, thinking of Soft Tube, their SH101 clone.
Yeah, that came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again,
I didn't like that as much as the other two.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I thought the Mini Moog was superb. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be that I just don't like the SH sound.
Could be.
Of
course, we mustn't forget. Model 82. Thank you, DT Scope. Of course, Spitfire Labs added a whole bunch of brilliant new things.
Yeah, they should get an
honourable mention. Those that also served.
Yeah, I kind of like their stacks, but the augmented stacks, but it actually came out last year.
Yeah. So lots of stuff to consider. So before we kind of get into the consideration element of that, shall we announce our winner for Best Hardware Synth of 2022?
Yeah, quick.
As voted
going
for.
Down.
Yeah, as voted for. So the vote's been open for nearly quarter of an hour. So I think we can officially end it. The poll has ended, and it was the OBX8 that won the poll.
Yes.
So
that's 2 points to Ben.
Come on, Tom, lad.
And the Mini Freak and the Third Wave actually came kind of joint second. They kind of evened out towards the end there. So the winner of our hardware synth of 2022 goes to Oberheim with their OBX8, and we shall be sending them a virtual award, I hope,
Yes.
in the next few days or so. And yeah, so there you go. OBX8, congratulations, and just great to see them back and great to see Tom back. So there we go. Right, so I'm just going to make that nice and big and bold so these old eyes can see it. Let me just do this. Oh no, I've just gone and deleted it.
What
No,
did
there
you
we
delete?
How do I make... Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was just trying to...
It's still up in the chat anyway.
Just trying to make it bigger. There we go.
Kent, I'm sorry, I had a bit of an urgent situation I had to deal with while you was announcing your nominations for software.
Mm-hmm.
What's the main forerunners for you?
Well,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the Oddity 3,
Right.
Contact 7,
Ah.
Arturia version 9, Pigments,
Ah.
and the Stephen Slate drums.
I've not tried those. Yeah. Nice.
yeah. So let's talk about these plugins. See if we can come up with who's going to pick what. So obviously there's loads of Cherry Audio stuff, and I think at least one of those should get put up for choices. I think. I mean, I did, and I apologise now to everyone in the chat. So my eyes are not the best at the moment, and I'm seeing all this stuff flick by. So if I forget your name, I forget what you said, or forget who said it, I apologise. But somebody mentioned about, are we voting for like new synths, like never before existed synths, or are we talking about, you know, like Pigments 4 existed before this year, but Pigments 4 was released this year, and it's an update. So yeah, we are including stuff like that. Because it is effectively a new version of the synth, so we are including that, but we are including stuff that is brand new. So Pigments 4's in there, Cherry Audio stuff, whether it's GX80, Elcorex, Signs, Dream Synth, Contact 7, the V Collection 9. I mean, I think it's easy to overlook the V Collection 9 because it is this ongoing project that every sort of 18 months. Couple of new things get added to it, but I mean, Kent, you know, you were really impressed with its CS80 V4, and you know, uttered the famous words that it was as close as you've probably found
So far,
in
Today.
software to a real one, and that's got to be impressive. But it just continues to be, I think, you know, the best all-round package. Value for money for what you get for your money. Yeah, what you get for your money is just stunning. StrikeFet, which of course is a software version of something that already exists. Stephen Slate drums. Contact 7. Not a fan myself, but
if you're a
it's
Contact
been
user,
improved.
you love it.
Yeah, it's
that's the thing.
It's a nice improvement.
Yeah.
What I was a bit disappointed by, so I've got an upgrade price because I own Contact 6. And they've given me an upgrade price, and then they sent me an email the other day saying, "Oh, here's a voucher for you to use over the holiday period." I thought, okay, I'll use that and I'll get it. And in the small print, this voucher is not to use before upgrades. And, oh well, never mind. So
Okay.
I'll wait until there's another sale. Korg stuff, again, hugely impressive that they've brought those to the plugin realm. I did consider adding the mini Korg, the micro Korg. But I thought maybe not because I'd probably get shot down.
Oh, I upgraded
Korg
the
collection.
Korg collection. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel cheated?
Yeah. I mean, the Electribe was fun for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The other stuff's okay. I don't really think it was worth the upgrade price, really. But you know, do it. But it's a great collection in all now. I just think that the most recent editions, they haven't added that much to it. It's nice to get some drums in there, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Actually, Lady Aptitude's just reminded me, IK Multimedia's Tonex does deserve a mention because it's amp modelling. So that's not new, we know, but the way it does it is dead clever. And unfortunately, I don't have any amps to model myself, but there's a whole community of people that are modelling, and you can share and swap the models around. So that's quite nice thing to do. And the demonstrations I've seen of it, where people have got pretty complex rigs, and what happens is you play a tone through this rig, and it's captured by the software, and it just models everything for you. So you can then just take that hardware setup as a plugin. I mean, it's quite ingenious.
Which is clever in itself.
It's very clever. Not new, but very, very good. And of course, IK Multimedia, I think, are a bit more affordable than others out there. So yeah, definitely worth a mention as a new piece of software. Right, so it's 8:15. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's get this one into the poll, and then we can talk about the last bunch of things, which are our production tools. So, guys, Kent, let's have you go first. What is your top piece of, or your top plugin for this year?
I think it has to be Arturia version 9.
Okay, so Arturia V Collection 9. Okay, Benjamin.
I think that I will have to go for the Oddity 3.
Good choice, sir. It's going to be mine, but I'll. That's fine. No, I've got
bruised
others I can pick
toes
from.
all round.
No, it needs being in there, and I have no problem. So that leaves me with a choice, and I think I'm going to go for, because they absolutely have to be in there. It's going to be a Cherry Audio synth, and I am going to put in the GX80, because personally I love playing with it, and if I want a really decent CS80 on its own, I've got the V Collection.
Yeah,
but I think what GX80 does is they've broadened the palette, and any claims of accuracy aside, I think all in all, it's a dead good synth for 59 quid or 59.
Oh yeah, from that point of view, definitely.
Yeah,
it's insane to think that you can have access to these palettes of sound for so little amounts of money.
Yeah,
if I was starting off now, it'd just be like, wow, mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's almost got to the point where you have to question, well, is it any good if it's that cheap? Kind of thing, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah. But I think we often ask that less and less of us, because every time they put something out, it is, you are getting something amazing for that stupid money. It's great, and they absolutely have carved themselves out as a provider of great value synthesis. And like I said, if you'd have said to me 20 years ago, you can have all of these synths and they're only going to cost you $59, I'd be like, no way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly. And here they are. So,
can I put a question to you before you carry on?
Yeah, sure.
I know that you're about to do it, but Kent went for V Collection 9.
Yeah.
If there was the Cherry Collection 1, would it rival that? Do you think? Obviously the price would be different, but. I think that's really...
there kind of is, isn't there? There is a collection. They do a
is
collection. There? Yeah. Synth Stack.
Ah, right. Right, okay.
So, and the price of Synth Stack is based on what you already own. So it decreases for every one that you own. It decreases down. So there is the Synth Stack. So it is kind of there. But yeah, I think maybe... I
wasn't aware of that,
Yeah, I think maybe if they... I don't know. I mean, Arturia have this thing that they have the V Collection, and then between versions of the V Collection, they will release maybe 1 or 2 standalone synthesizers that will then feature in the subsequent V Collection. So you can, and then if you buy them standalone, you get a discount when you get the upgrade to the next V Collection. So that's kind of their thing. And I think what Cherry Audio are doing is just like putting out a synthesizer every few months, which is great, and adding it to this stack and So I think. Yeah, if you want a version of V Collection, but in a much more affordable way, not to say that V Collection is a stupid amount of money, but there is one. So
They're saying in the chat that like the Cherry collection is $399 if you own nothing.
Yeah.
How much is V collection if you just buy it now?
$599.
Is it?
Yeah.
What did you pay, Kent? When you
It's something like that.
Yeah.
But
I think if you own nothing, it's like-
35 instruments in it.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, it's a
lot.
ton of stuff. Absolutely.
And if you to do what they do,
buckets.
you know what they do at the supermarkets, they put on the label, this is how much it is per litre. I think the value for money quotient would actually be in Arturia's favour because of the sheer volume of stuff. But some cool stuff. So I think so are we happy with V Collection 9, Oddity 3 and GX80 as our three candidates for top plug-in? Yep. Okay, let's put that to the viewers. There we go. It is now coming into the chat. There it is. So vote away. Crack on with that one in the chat. There we go. Straight away, RV Collection's got some votes there, but no, the others are catching up. Right, so we'll let that fester for the next 10 minutes or so. We'll keep checking back. It's nice to see it live. Whoa, look at that. It's like a graphic equalizer. It's been tipped on its side. Right, so that brings us to our third category, which is production tools. And this is kind of a catch-all. Really, just because we don't have the time to kind of crack through all the different sorts of things. So this is going to include anything that isn't a hardware synth and nothing else, that isn't a plug-in and anything else. So this is, and I'm going to throw some options out there to give you an idea of what I think this should be. So I'm going to put into this category the Sonicware Sample Trek and the Sonicware Lo-Fi 12, which are two things that came out within days of each other, which I thought were absolutely stunning. The new Arturia Minilab 3 controller, which, for such a tiny little thing, it's feature packed and it's so small and convenient. I thought it was a great little addition to their range. What else? DF Audio's Mini Bay, that little desktop patch bay thing that the guy in Thailand, who's an Aussie, lives in Thailand, has been hand building. That for me is just and I can see so many people in the EMON world or whatever, doing hardware jams, using one of these tabletop patch bays, because normally patch bays are these big things that you sit in racks and they've got loads of looms of cables going everywhere. This was just a cracking little device to throw in there. So that's what we're kind of looking at, your digitacts and your groove boxes and your controllers and maybe a mixer or something that wasn't just traditionally a hardware synthesizer. So guys, have you got any other suggestions to throw into that mix?
Well, I've gone for a couple the same as you, the Lo-Fi 12 and Sample Trek. I just love both of those, and if I had either of those, I'd be made up. One that I'm not like desperate to buy, but I think it's worth a mention. It is the MPC key.
Okay.
Because it's just giving a new angle on that, turning them into a keyboard workstation, and it might suit people's workflow a bit better. And so I thought that was worth a mention. But I think, and I know this should have been in software, but I just think that you get so much, and it's such good value for money, that I'm throwing in UVI Sonic Pass into mine.
Good
because
call.
It's like 20 quid a month, and literally if that was the only piece of software I had, it'd be enough. It's incredible. It's great value for money. And that's not, I'm not getting paid to say that. I have to pay for my subscription. I just think that bang for buck, it's great.
Yeah, no, you're right. And also the what was it? The MPC key. It's the one that's got 100 odd built-in sounds, and it's like a tiny little 25 key mini key controller thing. That you
Is
just
it Plus?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was doing this article for Gear News, and they wanted top 5 keyboards under 150 quid, starter keyboards for kids. So I was thinking, Casio tones and Yamaha PSS, or equivalents or whatever they are. And there were a few of those, and I thought, I need something that's got a bit more professional about it. And I was looking through, and I found this thing, and I started investigating it, and I thought, wow, if it was just over £100, you've got a little 25-note synthesizer controller with pads, with keys, with a little joystick for your pitch bend and mod, and it's got USB on it, and you can then, and it's from Akai, and it's cool, and it's red, and it's what a great little thing that was. So I think that could.
I haven't heard the sounds out of it, but
they're not bad. But they're Akai sample. I mean, Akai, don't they own Air now, and all of those? There's a bunch of other sample libraries that they've bought up over the years. So there's some fairly decent sounds.
I've got the version of it that doesn't do any sound,
right?
And I think the build quality and everything is great for throw it in your laptop bag and you're off. It's a great bit of kit. So if it sounds decent as well, that's a great addition to the list. Yeah.
Robert, Fat Dust Hex in the chat. Welcome, Robert. Good to see you here. He mentioned a couple that haven't been thrown in so far. Polyend Play, which I think is an ingenious little device. I've been incredibly interested in that. So there's that to consider, maybe. Let's see, anybody else? Soft Tube Atlantis Dual Chambers. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look into that one, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Let's see. Steve Elbow says the Squarp Hapax. Was that this year? I thought that was older than. It's an ingenious thing. Yes. Eventide H90 was another suggestion. I think that was Robert as well. There's a few others. Kent, did you have any that you want to throw in the mix?
Yeah, well, this was a cloudy, blurry category for me. I've gone for Rise 2.
Of course.
In this category. Because, why haven't we bought one yet? Stupid people. Go buy one now. Because of the whole, expression. And because they won't sell me a Osmos. The other one was in this particular category. I dropped the Mugafuga pedals.
Oh, of course, the software versions of those.
Yeah, they are very good indeed.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I got them, and I've been using them, and I like them a lot. And of course, it works out damn sight cheaper than buying hardware ones to tell it out for nothing. Funnily enough, the other thing, because I really, really like it, is the Altiverb 7.
Oh yes,
Reverb. I think 7 came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all right, it's just a lead on from the last one, but it's an ongoing concern. That it's just really, really useful. So this category got a bit sparse for me, really.
Yeah,
there's that.
It's an old
Eventide
category.
Black Hole as well, even though it's old. It's still good, and if you haven't got it, get it.
Yeah. That drum log as well. That came out this year, didn't it? The cut of it.
Well, yeah, it was announced, but then they've not hit the shelves.
I bought one and I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Our resident Korg dealer Ian, I think, was saying that they're not due until early sort of first quarter of next year. So that will come into
Jan, Feb.
Yeah, that'll come into
woods,
next year's one.
How's the votes going?
I'm going to give it a few more minutes because I want to do it much the same. So we've got about maybe 4 or 5 minutes left on that one. But yeah, it's a tough category. And I explained at the beginning why we've just got these 3 categories, and maybe as we expand over the years, we can increase the categories and maybe do this in a slightly more organised way because it's kind of been rushed. Yeah. But I just think that we are the pro synth network, and therefore we're all about synthesizers. Was there any? I mean, I'll put the call out to everyone in the chat. Were there any Eurorack modules? Shudder. Were there any Eurorack modules that were incredibly, that were new, that were great tools? It weren't just, were there sequencers or stuff, things like that stuff.
Was there any of that modular stuff out this year?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Rack Thingy 2.
The what? Oh, VCV Rack.
Yeah, there's Rack Thingy 2, and there's Twiddly Knobby Thing, version 2 as well.
Wagyu says the Tip Top Buchla modules. Yeah, they're actually
slow coming.
Yeah, worth a mention though. Those.
Yeah, really? No.
Well, I had a quick go on the Behringer.
Can't get excited about it.
I had a quick go on the Behringer System 55.
Yeah.
The fact that it was here to have some repair work done to it doesn't bode well, does it? But it wasn't a bad problem. It was, shall we say, user error. And I found that to be quite a stonking lump, I must admit. And because it was nice and small, it was actually fun to sit on the coffee table. Shh, don't tell Fiona. I did put a cloth down first, but I sat it on the coffee table and messed with it.
This is the new coffee table.
This is the new coffee table.
You're a brave man.
And messed around with this System 55 thing, and it was a lot of fun, basically.
Yeah.
I must admit.
Telling that it's coming to you for repair so soon in its young
Well,
life.
it was coming for repair because the bloke that owns it is a fucking idiot. Basically, patch cables come in and out from the panel. They don't go left and right. So you don't break off 3.5mm jacks in the sockets. It's not, so it was here for that repair, so nothing particularly about the machine itself. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed sitting there. I could have played with it for hours, but unfortunately the guy wanted it back. Typical.
Which variant of it was it? There's a couple here. There's the 50 and the 35 and the 55.
It's the 55.
Oh, the 55.
Yeah.
Right.
But he bought the whole thing, even though it was just one module had a problem.
Yeah, it's pretty big, that 55.
Yeah.
Last call, by the way, for the votes on best plugin. It's in the chat over there or under there. Go and vote now if you haven't already. Just going to do this. I need to make lots more notes here. Right, okay. So we'll close the poll in just a minute over there. Let's close the poll now because we need to do that before we open up the next poll.
We need a drum roll.
We do. Do you know? I had one.
And now from Norwich.
Oh! There's some last minute wiggling going on here.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to close the poll now. The poll has closed, and I can announce that Arturia V Collection 9 has won.
Yes, 2 points to me. Tie with Ben.
Coming in second was Cherry Audio's GX80, and Odyssey 3 was a close
House
third.
of Games, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't. It was fairly close. It was fairly close, that one. It wasn't like an out and out. So Arturia V Collection 9 has won the best.
I'm not sure whether V Collection 8 won it last year.
I was literally just thinking, was that? Yeah, could well have been. We will have a look.
I don't know. You had somebody else on.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. So let me just put in second there and third there so we can just make notes of those. Right, brilliant. Okay, so let's go back to our production tools. So we've talked about Sample Trek Lo-Fi 12, Minilab 3, Mini Bay, MPC Key 61, UVI Sonic Pass, Polyend Play, Rolly Rise 2, Moga Foga pedals, Sorry, Asio Head just wants another poll at the end of the show between you, me, and Ben. That's no, we won't do that.
Ben will win.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to put myself through
I
that.
mean, he's the only one who looks like Santa.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
all
he's gonna
year
win.
round.
He's going to win hands down. Ho,
What a
ho,
wanker.
ho.
And Squat Up Haypax and Altiverb 7 were another couple there. And of course, the Eventide H90, as Robert has very quietly reminded me of in the chat.
That's a lot of random capitals.
Yes. So I think because we're sort of into the last 25 minutes of the show, and I want to put this out there, so that's going to take another 10-15 minutes. Let's put this one to the vote. Who did we come to first? Let's go to Kent first. What is your choice for production tool of 2022?
Rise 2.
Okay. No surprises there.
No surprises there.
Oh, no. What's going on here? Why can't I... Oh, hang on. There we go. I need to do that first. I thought I'd already pressed the end poll. Right, so now
Now the poll's ended. There you go.
I thought for a minute I could only do 2 polls, but no, I can actually do 3. So, the Rolly
So talented.
Rise 2. Ben, what do you want for yours?
Well, I know what I really want.
What you
But-
really want?
But because me and
Tell me what
Kent
you
are
want,
level
what you
on
really,
2
really want.
points each, I want to pick the winner. So I think that's going to steal it off you.
You don't think Rise 2's going to win, though? Come on.
No, so you know what? I was gonna steal Sample Trek because I reckon that you might go for that. So I'll go for the Lo-Fi 12. I think that's
Okay.
a great little bit of kit.
Sonicware
Yeah.
Lo-Fi 12. So that's there. Okay, and I think again based on what I've used and what I think is a cracking addition to a set of production tools, and you know all the others are very deserving mentions. But yeah, I'm sorry, Sonicware Sample Trek. I think for the plain and simple fact that it's not a completely new idea, but they kick-started it, they delayed it a little bit to make sure they got it right. It still has a few little things that need tweaking, but we always knew that was going to be the case. But seriously, straight out of the box, it's such a fun thing to use, and sounds great and works great, and it's only going to go from strength to strength in my opinion. So yeah, that's going to get mine. So and to go with Lo-Fi 12 again, that was something that was really incredibly exciting because it's like an SP1200 budget SP1200. It kind of gives you that sound and that feel. Some of the videos that have been coming out just recently of people doing stuff with both of the machines is incredible. How quickly they've taken to it and come up with some really good stuff. So yeah, and of course the Rolly Rise 2. I've heard Mr. Spong playing it, and it sounds amazing. It's very good. So yeah, let's put that to. Let me just make sure that's all correct. So we've got the Rolly Rise 2, the Sonicware Lo-Fi 12, and the Sonicware Sample Trek. Your votes, ladies and gentlemen, are required now. And there we go. So it's all in. Please have a vote. Yeah, we need some, I need some music, don't we? Need some music there. So we're off. And Rolly Rise was in the lead, but the Sample Trek is catching up slowly with the Lo-Fi 12 coming up the rear.
Going in.
So all the votes are coming through. Blimey,
It's a little bit behind on YouTube, I think.
Yeah. Wow. This is interesting. I think this is one of the most active ones. Unless I just wasn't watching. But yeah. How fun. How fun that is. Right. Okay. I can't vote on this. None of us can vote on this. This is all our audience doing this. So please do. You've got about 10 to 15 minutes to get your votes in on Production Tool of the Year, which will kind of take us towards the end of the show. We've got about 20 minutes left. Gentlemen, this is it. This is the last show of the year. We've made it through another 12 months. This is, of course, Kent's first entire year with us.
Yeah,
Almost,
it's been
yeah.
great.
Yeah, thank you for being here and for imparting your fun and knowledge and wisdom.
Well, as long as you keep paying me, it's fine.
Well, yeah, we pay you?
You don't? Well, you do, don't you?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. Then I'm fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Kent's been under the impression that he's been on £1,000 a show since we started.
Yeah, I've been buying all this stuff, mate. Come
Just
on.
keep it at that, you know.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun year. It's been an interesting year. It's kind of like the everyone seems it's been the year of shows again. You know, people actually getting out there and meeting other people and having fun and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's been there's been some really cool gear and some really nice things for us to play with.
What's been your purchase of the year, Roberto?
Looks around the room. I think I have to say the sample track. For something that I've actually exchanged my own cold hard cash for. I think the sample track is, because I got it at the early bird price as well, which just makes it even better value for money.
Yeah, great that.
Because I think all in all, it's about £240 plus the duty and stuff. So, but that's been one of the most fun things. What about you?
Bit boring, but Mac Studio was probably
that's not boring. It's
significant that kind of changed things for me in the studio. I don't have to worry about what I'm running now. You just run anything you want.
Thank you very much, Wagyu.
The chuffs.
Yeah,
but it's been a fairly quiet year for me on the purchase front. I haven't really bought anything. I don't think. I think the last thing I bought was that Keylab 88.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I got that in December on 12 months interest free. I forgot all about it. And now I've got to pay for it.
Oops.
So that's a Christmas present to myself that I'd forgot about. Yeah.
Just having a look at the it's getting close. It's close at the top there. If you want to make your decisions, now's the time.
It's not updating on my one.
No,
No,
I've got it. Yeah, it's
don't know what that is.
Why would you say that the sample Trek wins over the Lo-Fi 12? What's better?
I don't know.
I know they're different machines.
Yeah, they do different things. And the sample Trek is more of a full-on production. So you can do a full composition on there. Whereas the Lo-Fi 12 is a groove box. It has 4 tracks, but you couldn't do like an entire song on there in the way that you can with a sample track. Yes, you could probably do a beat and then just fire in some samples, and you've got plenty of space on there for that sort of thing. But the sample track is more like having a door in your hand. Yeah, it's 10 or 13 tracks if you include the 3 globals, and you can it's got a mixer in there and effects and drum pads. Yeah, it's a really powerful little unit that has kind of taken on the the SP404, I guess, and its own game, and I think beats it in my opinion. I just never really, the 404 never really appealed to me. So and it's it's solidly built. It's got proper jacks on it and MIDI ports and USB ports and the screen. A lot of people were like, "Oh, the screen's a bit small." It's not. It's because it's so crisp and clear. It doesn't. You don't really notice it. So yeah, it's just been, I think, all around a significantly good investment from a Kickstarter perspective.
And what about you, Kent, with the Rise 2? What has led you to put that up as your choice for this particular thing? I know you've got one. Why is it better than the the original?
I think what they did is they addressed everything that was shite on the old one, basically, and made it better.
Which is what
Nice.
updates are-
It's always a good move, that.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's one of the few controllers I've got where you can say Bluetooth it to the Mac Mini and play a synth on that computer, while USB to another computer playing another soft synth, and then have a 5-pin DIN going to another synth simultaneously.
Right.
There's not many that can do that, is there?
No.
But that's about as useful as a chocolate teapot, really. But they've made it easier to play out of the box by having those
Right.
little ridges, which is a boon because it's another set of training wheels until you get used to it as well, making it more viable. Which is why the Osmos is so exciting. Is because I can play keyboard. I should be able to play that straight away, which you
Yeah.
will. Although there's a little bit of technique put in there because I noticed the key travel is quite deep on it.
Yeah.
So that will, there's a lot more of this going on.
I've never had a go of a Rise, but I imagine there's quite a learning curve there with it.
Yeah, more than there would be with any other keyboard. I mean, even the ones like because hasn't the Mini Freak got the touch keyboard, isn't it? Is it the touch
Microfreak
keyboard on
has,
it?
yeah.
Microfreak,
The
yeah.
Microfreak has, yeah.
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 I mean, there's a certain technique that you'd have to apply to that straight out of the box.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of the same, but it's a little worse with the
Yeah.
with the Rise. But once you've mastered it, once you can do all these different articulations, it's really worth it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Voting's still open. It's still a little bit close at the top there, but there is somebody
Right.
out in the lead.
Let the best gear win.
Indeed. And first of all, I want to shout out to Gert Bowers, €10. Thank you very, very much indeed. Much appreciated. And to Neil Wharton for his 10 quid as well. Thank you for a great
Good
year
job,
of shows.
Neil.
Thank you for watching. And yeah, nice to meet you this year as well, Neil. Sorry, my bloody Siri. I'll just shut up. No, don't do that. Why did I do that? I've just gone and sent a text to someone, and it's me talking to you guys. There you go.
well, that kept me confused for a while.
That will. It's kind of a bit
what
like
the
Michael
hell?
McIntyre's
Yeah.
text to all, isn't it?
Exactly.
Thank you guys for your donations. Now, Matt has a question specifically directed at Ben. What's the chance of you knocking up a ProSynth Network desktop wallpaper for people's computers?
No problem at all. If anybody has any suggestions of what could go on it exactly, what you're looking for, let me know, and I'll put something together, and I'll just post it in the group. You can have it.
Yeah, nice.
So
Cool stuff. So yeah, I don't know what else we can really sort of say to wrap up the year. It's been a good one, and we've
Has
had
it?
lots of fun. Well, no, I mean from ProSynth Network perspective,
yeah.
Forget all the we come here to escape.
The isolated community.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a fun year. Lots of fun things to talk about. We've had loads of great guests this year as well, and that will continue, or we'll certainly do our best to have that continue throughout the 2023. So I know I've got some people that I'm working on, shall we say. So that'll be, we'll get some people there. I know Kent's doing some stuff in that regard too.
Well, we've definitely got David Arnold again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he popped up on your show, didn't he, last week? So that was very
It was
cool.
hilarious again as usual.
It was, yes, absolutely.
Fruity, but
Yeah, well,
yeah.
wouldn't have him any other way.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do more of the same. Hopefully, next year we've got a budget now. So
You have?
yeah, we've been saving, and well, that was another thing I was going to say. Isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't it actually quite nice to see Ben Simpson in quite high definition there? Look at that. I mean,
yeah.
crisp and clear.
That's where my keyboards went.
I'm using my phone as a camera for the first
There you
time
go.
tonight.
Oh, nice.
So it seems
So yeah,
better than usual. And I've actually turned the lights down a bit because it should really be more like that, but it does
There
some
you go.
weird things on my eyes. Look.
Oh yeah. This is one of the reasons I don't wear my glasses when I'm doing the show.
I have to wear my glasses, that's why I can't see the monitors. At
Yeah,
all.
well, I'm now at this point. My eyes have deteriorated this year to the point where if I wear my glasses, some things are better and other things are worse. And if I don't wear my glasses, the opposite thing happens. And so it's just like, oh yeah, I won't bother. But maybe that's why my eyes are going, because I've got this big bright light shining in front of me as well. But yeah, we've got a budget, and we're kind of being able to consider what we might do with that stuff, and we're hoping that maybe next year we'll actually get to go out and about.
Well, I want to make some dedicated films.
Oh yeah,
I want to be able to do the ultimate expression comparison video.
That'd be good.
As soon as I get the bloody osmos.
Yeah.
But at least start off with the Rise one. For anybody who's interested or stupid enough to want a Rise.
Yeah, definitely.
This will be hopefully the definitive video.
Nice. Yeah. I need to do. I want to do one on the Mini Freak, but I'd also like to do some stuff on the Sample Trek and the Lo-Fi 12. It's just finding the time.
Yeah.
To devote to those, to get to know them, so that you kind of know what you're talking about when you're doing this video, because it kind of helps. So, yeah.
It should be all right for me because I'm going to be doing a lot less repairing next year. Because of the new business venture. We're going to manufacturing. Should be interesting. So at least we can promote the projects on here as being world exclusives.
Yeah.
If they
Very
don't
cool.
break, catch fire, or don't work at all.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's just give a shout out to our wonderful audience who are donating in their droves. Thank you, As You Go Ahead. Thank you very much indeed. And also to Andy Synth Addict for the infotainment and great guests. Have a MIDI New Year. And David Surchek as well. Good to see you here, sir. Thank you ever so much for your donation. I don't think I've missed anyone.
I think that was probably Cleo did that. Well, it wasn't David at all. Cleo's in the corner just typing
Cleo
away.
knows.
Yeah.
Geert has a this is not Geert van Schlanger, by the way, this is Geert Mertens, who is asking, do we have a Patreon site? And that's a very good question. It's something that we have considered over the last year or two as maybe a different way of having, we don't want to come up with loads and loads of ways of taking money from you. But no.
Stand and deliver.
Stand and deliver. Give me all your lupins. Sorry. So, no, I mean, we just want to, we want to make it easy for you if you feel like you want to donate. I always think with Patreon, though, that it's one of those things where I feel that we should give you something more than just what you're already getting for free, which is this show. Because we would do this for free, and we do this for free. Your donations just help us do it better. This whole thing that you're seeing with multiple screens and backgrounds and transitions and and wonderful sound effects,
String and sellotape.
Yeah, so all of that stuff, it helps us do it better. So the problem is that we all have day jobs, and it's finding the time to create all that extra content. Now, obviously, some of the people that you see on YouTube make their living from doing this thing. We don't. We just do this for a couple of hours on a Friday night, and then we're off again. And then during the week, it's just like a few little chats of organising. Ben does his amazing work, and he's done a fantastic job on this episode's thumbnail, which I thought was brilliant. Especially he messaged me, what time is it, like in the middle of the afternoon? I don't know what to do, I'm struggling. And then by the end of the day, he'd come up with that, and it was like, oh, what was your problem? I couldn't. Yeah, it's brilliant. So we sort of cobble this stuff together quite randomly, and it really does pay off, I think. And we want to take that money now and do something and deliver you some extra stuff. But I don't know if we could do something like once a month. I know some people just pay just for the privilege of paying, and that's great, and maybe we can do that and see where it goes from there. But if you have any ideas about what we might be able to do, I'd love to be able to do things like ProSynth Network preset packs and ProSynth Network sample packs, or ProSynth ProSynth. I'd like to think of a different name, but no, ProSynth Network tutorials or
Annual dogging meet.
yeah.
Hit them at the interest point.
Indeed. Before I finish that, last 2 minutes on the poll for the production tool, I've kind of overlooked there, so I'll give you 2 more minutes. If you have a vote to make on the production tools in the chat, go and vote for it now. Rolly Rise 2, Sonicware Lo-Fi 12, or Sonicware Sample Trek. Go and vote if you haven't already. I'll give you 2 more minutes. So we'd like to give you some cat treats, maybe. Yeah, as Davis said.
Crap,
Yeah.
Well, we know type that.
So yeah, we'll come up with some stuff. But yeah, if you have any ideas, answers on a postcard, prosynthnetwork.com, or was it info@prosynthnetwork.com, I think, or just ping us on Facebook or whatever. So
Sounds painful.
it does, yeah. Bing.
Ow.
So yes, 1 more minute on your votes. Let's get that done. But yeah, guys, I mean, thank you for everything that you do, and thanks for showing up each week. Come hell or high water, and it's an honour to sit here every Friday night and have you guys and chat to our lovely audience. So
Love doing it.
thank you for your support.
It's a little bit of a social event on the calendar, isn't it? Each week it's good to get together and
Absolutely.
and testiculate, as Robbie says.
Excuse me. Yes, testiculate. I love that word. I don't think it's even a word, is it? But yeah, I like it.
Actually, we should do a shout out to Dom.
Yes,
Dominic Hawkin,
Mm-hmm.
who is in hospital. Or back.
Oh.
He's gone to hospital again. His ailments have continued.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
Not good.
he's
Get
not
well soon,
not
Dom.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Again,
No.
poor soul.
Yeah, well, all our thoughts are with Don and his family. So get well soon. Hope to see you back on the interwebs ASAP. It is time to close the poll. So the poll is closed.
Well, that one got 18 minutes.
I know we got a few extra on that one.
Got a few extras, yeah.
So, without further ado, let's announce the winner of the ProSynth Network 2022 Best
Drum roll,
Production
please.
Tool. It is the Rolly Rise 2
No.
by a whisker.
Is it?
In your face, Ben.
He's won. He's
I get
won.
By-
2 points.
By 2%.
4 points.
I
Ooh.
thought Sample Trek would have got that.
No,
one.
I
honest-
thought Sample Trek would have got it.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be Sample Trek.
Wow.
2% in it.
Wow.
Very, very close. So, well
Gonna
done,
have to
Rolly
make
Rise
that
2.
video then, aren't
You are, yeah,
You are
absolutely.
now, yeah.
I?
So there you go. Well, listen, to our lovely, lovely audience who have watched in their droves tonight, thank you ever so much for joining us as you do every single week. So many familiar faces in the chat. It's always wonderful to see. We're going to be here, same time, same place next week, as we always are. Next week, we've got Dr. Mike Metley on the show because what we did in the first show of 2022 was look ahead to, we fumbled, should I say, with our crystal balls to see what might happen. And surprisingly, when I was going through that show to see, what we got, some things pretty bob on, other things missed by a mile. But yeah, there was some good things in there. So we're going to be doing that all over again. But this time we're going to look forward to see what we might expect to see in the music technology world in 2023. And of course, Dr. Mike Metley's got his ear to the ground, so we will have him along. And Geert says we didn't have a synth book category. That's very true. We didn't have lots of different categories this year. Maybe we'll expand on it if we decide to plan it better next time. That's the thing. But we need to keep it all short within 2 hours or so. So yes, listen. just absolutely so much fun to do these things. Really enjoy it, and I hope that everyone that watches enjoys it. And you must do, because you keep coming back. All the same names and new ones every week. There's lots of new names that show up there. So don't forget to like us and subscribe to us and share the link around, and do all the commenting thing. That's fantastic, and that would really, really help. And thank you for getting us over that 2,500 mark, which was just, it's one of those little milestone moments. So the next one's 3,000. Let's see if we can get to there.
And then
before
a
the end of
million.
the year. And then a million, yeah. It's funny though, because I was looking, how when you go through YouTube and you finish watching a video and then it suggests some other ones, and it's all based on an algorithm, so some of those are going to be quite interesting. And I ended up following this video, and this guy, I'm not going to mention any names, but he's doing music technology stuff, and he's only got a handful of videos. And he's got like 400 and something subscribers, yet one of his videos has got over 20,000 views. And then all the others are like 200 or 300. But what I like about us is that we have a consistent level of engagement. So well over 1,000 views per video, and consistent, sort of 2,500 subscribers. And I'd rather go for that than have just one magic moment and then lots of nothing. So I'm just happy with what we got. I'm happy with my lot. There we go.
Yes.
I just saw ProSynth Network come up there. Oh, Prometheus was just saying thank you. You're more than welcome. Thank you for watching. That's all we can say. Kent, are you doing any of your? Because I was expecting you to do something last night, and it never happened.
It required me being awake.
That always helps.
Yeah. Well, not always, obviously.
Well, no, I mean you have fallen asleep during the
fallen
show.
asleep on one of my own shows. Yeah. Well, it was boring.
That was funny.
So, yeah, no, don't do a show when you haven't slept for 2 days. Yes, I'll probably do something over the weekend for those who are otherwise got nothing better to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched a film in the end. I was still nothing. No, I'll stick a film on.
Yeah.
I watched that Banshees of Inisherin, which is very good, by the way. If anybody is thinking about watching that, it's on Disney Plus at the moment here in the UK.
Yeah.
Well worth a watch.
So I think because I've reached 500 subscribers now.
Yeah, see, look, you got your own milestones now.
So there's at least 500 people who've got absolutely no taste whatsoever.
Give them a link to my SoundCloud, please.
Yeah,
go for it.
Well, I think don't we have our links underneath in the description? I just copy and paste them over every week.
Yeah,
so.
I think the last time somebody went to my SoundCloud, I think it was just to empty the bins. Honest to God.
Oh yeah, I need to refresh mine.
Are you doing a gig over New Year's, Ben?
Yeah, we've got one tomorrow at the club in Burton Wood. We've been doing this one regular now for a few years on New Year's Eve because it's local for us, so it's dead easy and it's local for three of us and one of us.
It's not
always
local for
misses
me.
out. Yeah. So
I do need to come and see you guys one day. We should organise that. We should have a ProSynth Network show. Like you do us a show. Yeah.
that'd be good. Yeah, do that.
We can pay you
It's
out
a
the
bloody
key.
good show. It should be out there, shouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, too bloody right.
Indeed. You got any plans for tomorrow night, Kent? Or do you just sit there and get horribly drunk?
Well, it doesn't take much to get me drunk. I mean, God's sake, two spoons of cough syrup and I'm on the floor sort of like screaming at the wallpaper. So, no, it'll be, I'll probably have some sort of sedate little thing going on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And because I was going to do a thing where people, I think it was started by David Zedchek about not actually doing any music all year.
Oh, yes, yeah, he did, yeah.
And I did kind of suggest, look, we'll do something and then we'll play it on the show. So, but of course, I was asleep. So, do the same thing, but tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably drop in at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to stay too long. We generally have a takeaway because we can't be bothered to cook. And then there's wine and spirits.
Yeah, but that's the
beer.
thing about this show. It tends to go on about 8 hours, and people wander in, wander out, wander back in again. I was on my way to the toilet. I thought I'd pop in and say hello, and then wander out again.
Still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, everyone, ask Ty what he got for Christmas from his beloved. Best Christmas present ever.
I've got to repair it.
It's great.
I've already ordered. I ordered part. I've got most of it's already here.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You're saying, brilliant stuff. Excellent. Sorry, I'm just seeing all. I don't normally have the YouTube chat open. I only look in the system chat here, and I see two different things scrolling, and I'm getting distracted. So I apologise. Right, we'll call it a day. Happy New Year to all of our viewers, to all of our subscribers. To everyone that drops in and drops out, or that is here all the time. We love you all. We wouldn't do this without you people, and we love you to bits. Here's to a fantastic 2023, also known as the day after tomorrow. Have a fantastic time if you're doing anything this weekend. Stay safe and enjoy it. And we will see you on January 6th with Dr. Mike Metley, and we'll have our 2023 prediction show with these two guys as well. So until then, unless anybody has got anything else they want to add. No, that's a resounding no then.
My phone's running out of battery, apparently.
Oh, well, we'll wrap it up now. Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you joining us every week. And hey, here's to 2023. Have a fab one. Take care. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Loves yourselves, guys.
Happy New Year.